Yo guys, in this video today I'll be talking about why I switched to the GMK Joystick, also known as a Martoz Joystick, and why I believe many of you will benefit from using it too. I'll be covering everything you need to know in this video, so make sure to watch until the end. So this is what the joystick looks like. Remember though, I'm left-handed, so use my left hand for mouse, so therefore the joystick I use is designed for left-handed people. Most of you will have a joystick that's flipped compared to this. The joystick itself sits directly underneath your keyboard and there's a plate here to stop it from moving around too much. It plugs straight into your PC via USB cable and it's pretty easy to set up as well. There's only one or two settings that you actually need to change in game for this to work, and I'll go through them in a second. Once you've got the joystick plugged in, there's only two settings in game that you need to change for it to work. If you head over to your settings and go over to the mouse and keyboard tab, there's two settings, one called ignore gamepad input and lock input method as mouse. Obviously the ignore gamepad input needs to be off as you want it to recognize the gamepad or the joystick, and the lock input method as mouse needs to be on. Otherwise what will happen if you have this off is it will randomly flicker, so when you're playing it will flicker between controller and keyboard and it will pretty much just bug out. Let's start by talking about the pros and the cons of this joystick. Pros: full 360 movement. This means you're able to move around more precisely and aren't limited to a certain axes like double movement. As seen in the video, I'm able to strafe fully left or right, but also able to change the angle at which I'm moving, just like controller players are able to. It also allows you to have more fluent movement and therefore be able to peek better and limit your exposure to your opponents, meaning you take less damage in fights. Of course, just the same as anything, you have to practice this, as the joystick will feel awkward and uncomfortable when first using it. It's easy to set up. As shown in the video earlier, there's only two settings that need to be changed in game for this to be working. More optimal keybinds. Because the joystick frees up all your movement binds, typically WASD, you're able to change your binds so that you have less binds on each finger, meaning you can press them faster or in a more optimal way without messing up your movement. Like me for example, before I had the joystick, a majority of my building binds, edit bind and even interact bind was on my index finger. This meant one finger had to press over 5 keys as fast as possible. This is much less optimal than only having like 2 binds per finger, which is something this joystick allows you to do. The device is reasonably affordable and it's definitely worth the money. The V3 version that's available now has fully customizable software and a 1000Hz polling rate compared to the old gen which is a 500Hz polling rate. This means the joystick now feels less delayed and more responsive. Cons. There's not really that much about the joystick that's bad. I mean, the only thing that annoyed me at the start was it can take a while to get used to. Depending on how much you play, it could take anywhere from a few weeks to a couple of months to fully get used to this device. I certainly struggled for the first month as it does feel unnatural to start with. Depending on how busy the company is, it can take up to 2 to 3 weeks to arrive, although they do keep customers updated on what orders they're currently working on, as seen in their Twitter bio. Apart from them two things, I don't think there's too many cons to this device. For some people, they wouldn't be able to get used to it and they'd end up quitting, and I think that's half the battle really. For the first month of using this device, I seriously wanted to quit. I mean, my movement felt scuffed, I had to change a lot of binds because my fingers wouldn't reach the top row due to the joystick making your hand placement lower. It was just shambles. But honestly, if you use this joystick and just stick with it, you'll definitely improve. So some of you might be wondering, where can I buy the joystick? If you open up your browser and type in gaming mod kits, it will be the first result that shows up. If not, I'll leave a link to this website in the video description anyway. As you can see, the price is in dollars as it's made in the US. The joystick itself is fairly cheap, but depending on where you live in the world, the delivery cost will vary. As I said anyway, I'll leave a link to this website below. That just about wraps it up for this video. I hope I gave you all a good insight on what the joystick is like and if it's worth buying. In my opinion, this joystick is 100% worth learning. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop a like, and if you want to support me and see more content from me, then subscribe with notice on. When we hit 500 subs, I'll be posting a setup tour as well. Thank you for watching, I'll see you all in the next video.